If you have fallen down the rabbit hole of looking into all of the ingredients that are used in your personal care products and you are ready to make your own deodorant that is healthful and nourishing to your body rather than damaging, you are in the right place. I'm super excited to share my latest deodorant formula with you guys. It is a tallow base, but don't worry if you're not ready to use tallow in your skincare. I do have an easy swap for coconut oil. Before I get into the recipe, I'm going to go over a few of the most common commercial deodorant ingredients and their dangers. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the ingredients that I chose for this recipe and why. Then we'll get to the recipe. If you don't want to hear those things, use the chapter bars to skip ahead to the recipe. I hope you enjoy. So we're gonna go over some of the most common commercial deodorant ingredients and why we should avoid rubbing them on our bodies every day. First up, we have aluminum. You guys probably are familiar with that. This is gaining some mainstream attention now that aluminum can have health concerns. Aluminum is linked to Alzheimer's and breast cancer. It also builds up in your body over time. It's fairly hard to get rid of. Fragrances. Fragrances contain phthalates, which are endocrine disruptors. They are linked to birth defects, cancer, infertility, obesity, autoimmune disorders, autism, and ADHD. This is crazy. This is why I'm using my notes because it is so much and I just want to make sure that I don't miss any of these details. Propylene glycol. This blew my mind when I looked it up actually. It was developed originally as an antifreeze. Propylene glycol has been shown to be a skin irritant. Who'd have thunk it? And it can cause allergic reactions even in concentrations as low as 2%. And in a lot of deodorants, even ones that are branded and marketed as more natural alternatives, propylene glycol is often the first or even second ingredient in those deodorants. Parabens. Parabens are preservatives that are found in many cosmetic and food products. They have been shown to mimic estrogen and are also endocrine disruptors. Studies have shown parabens showing up in a lot of breast tumor tissue. Triclosan is an antifungal and antibacterial chemical used in many personal care products. It is also an endocrine disruptor, specifically affecting your thyroid hormone function. It has also been linked to increased hay fever, allergy development, and finally triclosan, if I'm mispronouncing this, I'm so sorry. It can react with chlorine in water to form chloroform, and therefore it is considered a highly probable carcinogen. So in summary, these deodorants that we are putting on our underarms every day are very toxic and harmful to our bodies and our delicate, intricately connected system. Thankfully, it's really easy to make a great deodorant at home where you can completely control all of the ingredients that you put in it, so you can make something that not only helps you smell nice, but also nourishes and uplifts your body. Let's talk a little bit about the ingredients that I have selected for this recipe. I recently totally fell in love with using animal fats in skincare. This is fairly recent, in just the past year. Previously, I had done, all of the fancy ingredients for my salves and lotions, cocoa butter, shea butter, beeswax, mango butter, sal butter, like all of the exotic butters and the fancy salve ingredients. I was totally into that. But after getting into more of the Weston A. Price Foundation teachings, I found out that tallow and lard are extremely beneficial to use topically. So I have been transitioning all of my normal salve and personal care recipes into a tallow base, and I have loved it, absolutely loved it. It is so much cheaper, it is so much easier, and I dare say it is a better final product. I have been really loving the way that it feels, the way that it absorbs into my skin. I will try to get like a close-up video of a coconut oil versus a tallow patch on my skin so you guys can see how quickly it absorbs. When you're using a plant oil, I feel like it gives you that greasy feel a lot longer, which is maybe nice in a massage oil if you want it to have that slick feel for a lot longer. But for deodorants and personal care salves and medicinal salves, I feel like you want it to just absorb. You don't want it to just sit on the top layer of your skin. You really want it to penetrate and do its job. You want the herbs to sink in. You want those benefits to absorb into your body, not just to sit in a greasy layer on top of your skin. So I have been completely loving tallow as the base because it is a single ingredient base. You don't need to add beeswax or shea butter or anything else, just the tallow as the base. And tallow is full of wonderful vitamins and minerals for your skin, A, D, K, E. It's also a great source of CLAs, which are cancer-fighting compounds. So overall, it's an amazing choice as the base. Coconut oil would be my second option as a salve and personal care product base. It is also solid at room temperature, though it does melt much more easily than tallow does. You may want to add a little bit of beeswax to just help solidify it a little bit if you go that route. It also makes a great 50-50 blend, half tallow, half coconut oil. And coconut oil is antibacterial, antifungal, all of that good stuff makes it a great option, specifically in deodorants. I, of course, wanted to incorporate the power of plants into this recipe. So I made a list, and I'll put it on screen here, of 2 different categories of herbs. There are herbs that are going to support your lymphatic system and herbs that support the antibacterial, antifungal fighting properties that we need in a good deodorant. I would choose 1 herb from each column off this list and make yourself a little 2-herb blend of whatever is easily available and forageable for you, or whatever your personal favorites are. Today I'm using calendula and hops, but like I said, feel free to pick any of the herbs off of this list, or if you have a favorite that I didn't list, feel free to experiment with that. Last but not least, we have magnesium hydroxide. You get a little bag of this off of Amazon, I'll link it in the description, and it's going to make so many batches of deodorant. But that's fine, it's shelf stable. You just stick it in the very back of your cupboard and you'll be set for absolute ages with magnesium hydroxide. This is what gives this herbal deodorant the extra boost to really be a full strength herbal deodorant. A lot of DIY recipes out there call for baking soda. A lot of the more natural alternatives on the market actually include baking soda, which is labeled as soda bicarbonate or bicarbonate soda. And that is really irritating to a lot of people's skins. It's super bad for me. It will peel all my skin off, terrible bloody red rash. It's horrible. So I definitely wanted to formulate something that is both gentle and effective and just generally healing and supporting rather than damaging. So I did some research on the magnesium hydroxide. I really like it. It has been working phenomenally for me. The magnesium hydroxide works on the surface while the tallow or coconut oil and the herbs that you infused into it sink down into the deeper layers of your skin and do their work there. You can also add some essential oils of choice, 10 to 20 drops of whatever scents you like. Tea tree, rosemary, lavender, mint, patchouli, whatever essential oils you really enjoy can probably be used in this recipe. It's pretty simple to make. We're going to infuse our oil with our herbs, strain it, and then add in the magnesium and the essential oils. So we're gonna start with 6 tablespoons of whatever oil base you're using and warm that up in a double broiler type situation. Once that's liquid, go ahead and add enough herbs to just barely be covered by the amount of oil that you're using. We're just gonna leave this on really low warm heat for a few hours, just basically making a tea, but instead of water and herbs, you're using oil and herbs. All right, we're back after a couple of hours. Our herbs have fully infused into our oil. We're just going to strain this. I'm using a fine mesh sieve today. You can also use cheesecloth. With the mesh sieve, you will have a little bit of plant sediment maybe at the bottom of your jar. That really isn't a problem for me, but if that really, really bothers you, you could also use a coffee filter. It's just going to be a really slow drip. Add 2 tablespoons of magnesium hydroxide and whatever essential oils you'd like to use. Whisk this really well and then let it cool down for a little bit until it's thickened a bit but not solidified. Once it's thickened a bit, whisk it some more. This way your magnesium that may have settled gets redistributed somewhat evenly. And that's it. Just let it cool down the rest of the way, put a good fitting lid on it, and you're ready to go. Thank you everybody for joining me on another fun video. I hope that you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something new. Let me know in the comments if you learned anything today, if you've ever used tallow, or if you're interested in using it in personal care products. Let me know what kind of content you want to see in the future as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Videos to look forward to, guys. I have a cayenne pain salve and a first aid salve that are going to be posted soon. When they are, I will link them in the description and put them on the end screen and all those fun things. So stay tuned.